and thank you for joining us for another episode of Business PNG. On this brand new edition of the OBG Corner, Managing Editor of the PNG Report, Marco Venditti, speaks to CEO of the Kina Group of Companies, Syd Yates.
Syd, good morning and welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Marco.
Yes. So Kina Bank is the fourth largest financial institution now in PNG, the first homegrown. So if somebody would have told you that would have happened to your life when you came to PNG, I don't know how many years ago, would you have believed it?
Well, no, but I always had a vision of what I wanted to be and where we wanted to go when I first come back to Kina all those years ago. But I guess it's, I would never really probably expected it. But I had a vision of some and a greater picture of what I wanted to be and what we wanted to have, and that was a diversified financial services organisation. So I guess in a way it probably is, but in the format it is, I didn't really expect it.
I see. So what you're saying is it takes a vision, or perhaps it takes a visionary. Would you say you're one of them then?
Oh, you definitely need a vision. I mean, life is full of journeys. We're all on a journey and we have different journeys, and whether it's your work journey, your social journey and a life journey, and some you can choose where you want to go and choose when it's going to end, and others you can't, as you know. But if you have a vision and you have a goal of where you want to go, it's I think, and that's what's really important. You need to be able to know where you want to go, and don't lose sight of that.
I see. And also you have to have the qualities. Now, I'm interested in one aspect of your job, which is the one, in a way, of promoting Papua New Guinea internationally. You just launched a very successful IPO on the Australian Stock Exchange. You have raised quite a lot of money and quite a large number of investors. So what would you say is the most difficult task? How does it take to sell PNG internationally?
Look, Papua New Guinea, there's always this perception, and I think we don't in Papua New Guinea do a very good job of marketing Papua New Guinea. Look, the perception is out there that we only ever hear the bad things and the things that are not so good, or hear the things that Papua New Guinea hasn't achieved. But in reality, there's a lot of things that we've achieved as a country, and I think the most important thing is that Papua New Guinea is only 40 years old. It's only a young country. And I think because they probably have achieved quite a bit in that 40 years of independence, is that the bigger countries that come around and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, forget that. They've had 300 years or 400 years to get where they've been, and I think they have expectations that Papua New Guinea should be achieving those sort of standards in a very limited time that Papua New Guinea's had independence.
Absolutely. There is always a lot of skepticism when somebody starts a new venture. I'm sure you must have heard plenty of that on your side, locally as well as internationally. Why is that, you think?
I think it comes back to that perception thing. I think that, and because Papua New Guinea is a young country, they think that we are probably not, on the other hand, not as sophisticated and have the same standards and qualities that they have in some of our closer neighbours and in developed countries. But in reality, take our sector for instance, it's a very good sector. We had the reforms back at the beginning of 2000, 2001, 2002, where we brought in some new legislation through Sir Macquarie Murata, the Prime Minister at the time. And what that done is transform the financial sector into a very strong, they're robust, it's well regulated by the Bank of Papua New Guinea, and it sits up there, it's very sound. We went through the financial crisis in 2008, 2009, relatively unscathed. But the financial sector, the banks, the superannuation are very sound and very strong, very well capitalised, and they have lots of liquidity.
So now, fourth largest institution, you're basically stepping into the ring with some heavyweights down there. But you once told me it's best to be an underdog. Why is that?
Look, when you're at the top, it's like the same in the sporting field, as you well know. If you're sitting up there at the top, everyone wants to beat you. They want a piece of you, and you strive to get there. And I think when you're at the bottom, really the only way, hopefully, is up, and that's what we look at. But we don't have any ambitions to being the biggest. We just want to be the best at what we do, and the areas that we want to operate in. So that's our number one goal, is to go out there and try to achieve that. And it is difficult, and hopefully that will be beneficial to us in the future.
What do investors think when they see PNG? Obviously, there is bigger risk in investing in PNG than investing in a safe market like Australia, but there are also advantages at the same time.
Well, I think it comes down to risk and reward, basically, and you can invest in an economy that has probably maximised its growth, has got running at full growth, whereas Papua New Guinea has lots of opportunity. We have in the future, as I mentioned some of the projects before, there's lots of opportunity for growth. And that's why people will come here and invest, where they get growth. And obviously they would like to also they want a better return than if they invested in a safe climate. Investors need to have certainty. They don't want to come in and that things are going to change all the time. You know, they want to make sure that we've got political stability, economic stability of taxes and that sort of thing. So they want to feel assured that that's not going to change, especially when they're investing for a long haul. So investors look at all that, and they look at, to make sure that they feel comfortable about investing. And obviously they've got to have the opportunity. They've got to have the opportunity in the country. And I mean, Papua New Guinea is not the only country out there to invest in.
Absolutely.
Especially there's a lot of countries in our category. You know, you've got in Asia and South America and Africa, they're all similar place where we are. And if they get a better opportunity, they will go there.
Absolutely. When we're talking about investors, there is something interesting about the way you shaped up this bank, that all your employers are also shareholders.
Yeah.
That's quite unique. What you want to tell us what's behind that?
Look, my view is that I started off, we had 7 employees and a couple of computers when we started. And I think that you can only be successful in business if you've got a great team, and that's our staff. I always treat our staff as our greatest asset, and without our staff and helping us develop and grow our business, we wouldn't have a business. And when we chose to list on the ASX and on POMSOX, I made it that we would give all our staff shares, and they would have the opportunity to participate in our success, and they're actually part owners in a way. That's directly. But in fact, with NASFund, Number One, CTSL, all those super funds also having a shareholding, you know, basically most of the workers in the country that are in those super funds are indirect shareholders as well. But having our own staff as shareholders, I think, is one of the greatest things that we could do. And they will get opportunities to have more shares as we go and develop in the years to come.
Would you say that human resources probably is the biggest untapped resource of PNG? Not having made the most of the human resources of this country.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear your question. What was that again, mate?
Human resources. You know, we're talking about all these resources in this country. You know, hydrocarbon, all the extracting minerals, all of that. But human resources always come sort of at the end. But perhaps things are changing.
Well, it was quite interesting. Earlier in the year, we were treating about looking at our how we treat our budgets and expenses, and we're talking about staff costs and all this. And I said, hang on, look, this I was saying. Let's look at it in a different way. Let's look at staff as an asset. Let's not look at it as an expense. You know, which is a little bit of a different way of looking at it. Let's then, if we've got an asset, we should treat it as invest in that asset and training, you know, developing. And in return for that, like any asset, we want to get a return. So when we approached it that way, it gave a completely different view from our board on how we deal with our staff. And as I was on a show, a radio show a few years ago, and it was Roger Oaf. He said, "What's the best investment in Papua New Guinea we can make?" And I said, "Well, I thought, because we're talking about finance and, you know, the share market." I said, "The best investment we can make is in our staff, in our people." And he was quite shocked, but it's actually true. And I think that's come about. And I know that during the LNG project, they invested a lot in developing, you know, the colleges to develop the skills in those sectors. So it's a great thing that if we can go about and develop our people and invest in our people, that you'll get a great return out of them.
See, it takes a visionary. You have to see these things.
Yeah.
Now, before I met you, I thought I was a very well-traveled man, but I'm sort of doubting it now because it doesn't matter what place in the world I'm talking about, you've been there. And not only as a tourist, you're quite curious traveler. And I get a sense that there is some sort of parallelism between your travelers and your journey as a businessman as well. What does travel mean to you?
I think it gives you an opportunity to look outwardly, and I look at when I travel, I learn to respect different cultures and different people and different ways they do things. I try to learn something new every day, and we all in fact learn something new every day, but we just don't realise it. And I think you sit down and say, what have I learned today? And you can take that message, whatever you've learned, forward in your life. And I try to do that, and I like to pick all those sort of things and see and get a mixture and make it and see what we how we can do things better, how you can be better as a person, and I think when all these conflicts and all that are happening, you can get a balanced view on things because you've actually been all. I mean, I'm not talking about being the Syria in those, but you know, the different cultured countries and experiencing different religions. I think you can understand. You have a greater empathy, and you can understand different things, and I find that rewarding, that I can have my own view on things instead of being told what I should listen to from all the different TV networks and that around the world.
Well, that's worth also the same concept for Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, obviously, as we all know, it's not only Port Moresby, it's a much bigger reality out there. Do you think that with your brand, which is, you know, it's a homegrown bank, you think also you want to make that sort of impact and not only limit yourself to Port Moresby, but just go out there?
Well, look, we obviously have ambitions to grow and develop, but when we did this IPO, it was very challenging. It took us 12 months, and on this journey, what we did, we had to first sell PNG, and we had to go out and talk about this before we even talked about our IPO. And we couldn't talk about our IPO until really when we were going to do it, because you're not allowed to under the different securities laws around. You know, you can't be out there peddling something that you're not really allowed to. So we had to go on this selling about Papua New Guinea. I think that was really rewarding because I felt a great responsibility, actually. I felt a responsibility that if we failed on what we were doing about listing this company, is that we may, and we did something wrong, and we may have ruined the chances for other organisations to do it in the future. So, look, that's not, you know, it's just that we need to make sure that it worked. And so we didn't hold back anything. We had the best advisors. We made sure that we really planned it well and talked to it. And when we were ready to do the final pitch, we worked really hard. I think we did 55 presentations in 10 days in 7 countries. And but that was sort of the end result of a lot of work that had gone on before. This is when we were selling the Kina story. We'd already sold the PNG story. Because PNG, we didn't want to go in selling the Kina story when you had to sell the PNG story. But PNG, you know, as you know, I'm passionate about Papua New Guinea. It's a good story to sell. And I found that very benefiting too, about telling all the good things. And obviously people were happy about it, and they supported us very strongly. You know, we were many times oversubscribed, and I think that was great. And I mean, but we needed to sell PNG because all the financial institutions here are good stories. We've got good companies here, but they shouldn't be hindered by the fact they come from Papua New Guinea, you know. And so that's what we had to do first. So we knew that we could probably sell our story, but we needed to make sure we could sell that.
So what you're saying is you have to concentrate on too many things at one time now, and expansion is going to be further down the line, but it might come.
Well, the most important thing that we need to do is to integrate the two organisations, and that's progressing very well.
Sure.
And we need to make sure that we've got a strong base to move forward with. And we need to convert some of our existing branches into full-service banking branches, which we will. And you will understand this. Rome wasn't built in a day, but we will work hard, and we're working hard to make that happen, and deliver some new services, and they'll be coming in the next year.
So Syd, thank you very much. Really appreciate your comments. We will be following you in your car now into Port
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for joining us today, and we're looking forward for the next issue of Business PNG. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new segment called Destinations. Now in this segment we feature some of the amazing tourist destinations our country has to offer. Welcome to Rapopo Plantation Resort.
Rapopo. This is one of the most historic places in East New Britain, in Kakapo in fact, given that this was before a Japanese airstrip, that's a couple of years back. Having that in mind, not only Rapopo, but anywhere near the diameter of Rapopo, you'll see a lot of tourist destinations. Well, right there you have the volcano. Rapopo is the only one who has that view. What you see above water is as wonderful below water. That's one attribute of Rapopo. Other than that will be people, our staff, all right? When you say rooms, when you say food, each will have their own say, each will have their own comment. But when we talk of people, it's a distinct characteristic that us as managers can help, all right? New Guineans, in fact, they have it within themselves. They're friendly, they're warm, they're true, no pretense. And that's what we want to give to the market. And that's what we get to give to our guests. The characteristics within them is not enough. Training is very much needed, and that's what we are trying to do, to give out something world-class. Not just the product, not just the rooms, not just the food, but people. That's what we capitalize with. And other than people, we collaborate with the government. This is what Rapopo is doing now. We call in with the tourism industry here in East New Britain. We tie up and try to get some special markets. And currently, we have the Japanese market coming in. We have the Chinese market coming in. So hopefully before the year ends, we'll have a big group of Chinese market. And Rapopo wants to showcase the warmth that Papua New Guinea has, not just Kakapo, not just East New Britain, but Papua New Guinea in itself as a destination. And second to that will be to take away whatever has been in the media, websites, and some write-ups from before that says not so good things about Papua New Guinea. Basically, that's the challenge that we want to answer to, that there's a lot in Papua New Guinea, there's a lot in East New Britain, there's a lot in Kakapo, and you'll find it in Rapopo. What makes Rapopo so special? That's the smile. And number two is we have this welcoming experience that we give, and I'm pretty sure we're the only one. All our guests gets to have the sing-sing. And of course, all of our guests are treated as VIP, very important people. How we show that? It's through the welcoming experience. It's through the level of service. From the time you come in, your stay here, until you check out. It will never be perfect. It will never be perfect, but what I'm saying is the warmth and the sincerity will always be there. The warmth and the sincerity. That's what sets us apart. the will not to give up and making things better every time. That's what sets us apart. It's not settling through something mediocre. We put our brand, and Rapopo brand is warmth, sincerity, passion, people. That's what sets us apart, and we want to communicate that to our staff and to our guests, to everyone. The location in itself will give us the bounty of the sea. This shoreline will serve as your proof of freshness. You get your crayfish, you get your red emperors, and the whole lot, and it comes here fresh. From the shoreline, it gets cleaned up. It goes straight to the kitchen. In 15 minutes, you'll have it served on your table fresh. And that comes with a very efficient service from our food attendants, always with a smile.
You are welcome to Rapopo. You are welcome to Rapopo. Your guests from Popo will be your home away from home. Enjoy, explore, relax at Rapopo. We want to say, welcome to Rapopo.
And that's all we have for you tonight. For more business news, if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online at www.mtv.com.pg. Or to join the conversation, like our page on Facebook for daily business news, or follow us on Twitter with the Twitter handle at the bottom of the screen using the hashtag BusinessPNG. Until next Tuesday, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Leon Jarari, and this was Business PNG.